Welcome back to YATA Talks. Today we're talking with Brother Feras Marish about social equality and social justice. Earlier we talked about what social equality and what social justice is and how Islam views it and disconnect in the community. So we're going to go right back to the questions. So earlier we were talking about how there is a disconnect from the source and how there's a disconnect from the source and the followers. So my question to you is, what is this disconnect? How is this disconnect here? Like, who is this disconnect?
The disconnect starts with ignorance, right? When we love our deen, we study it, we know everything about it, we start applying it. And intuitively, if we don't know it, we can't apply it.
Of course.
We like to think that we're Muslims, we're living as Muslims, but in reality, ask any Muslim, about a certain matter in the deen, they don't know anything about it. Where did they get their deen from? They got it from culture, they got it from hearsay, they got it from, the family basically. Or maybe their friends, or maybe media, you never know.
Of course, there's obvious disconnect, as you're saying, and obvious problems when it comes to knowledge. People aren't as driven as they used to be. So we're going to go into a bit specifics of things that we find that the Muslim community still has, and you can kind of give me an example of you think why this is happening, if it's correct, if it's not, and what we should do for it. So one of the most obvious ones that is often brought up is the disconnect and the kind of inequality, if I can say, of men and women. It's mentioned often. Some Muslim countries, women are allowed to drive. Of course, we can't put these kinds of contexts into a Western world, but we'd like to ask, are men and women actually equal in Islam?
I'm glad that you said in Islam. So we want to focus on what's in the system. Whether it's being applied properly or not, it's a different story. 4 ayahs from the Holy Quran, and I want every Muslim youth to know and remember and inshallah memorize if possible. First ayah in Surah Al-Isra, verse number 70. Allah SWT says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِمَّا خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. Allah SWT is telling us in this ayah that Allah SWT has dignified the offsprings of Adam in many ways and gave them a lot of good things, and He made them better than other creations. Who is Allah talking about here when He says the offsprings of Adam? Is He specifically talking about men?
No, he's talking about both.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's both men and women are dignified in the exact same way. So this is the first ayah as a proof of equality in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is both men and women dignified in the exact same way in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So point number 1. Point number 2, in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ. O you people, we've created you from males and female. And we made you in tribes and nations so you may know one another, so you may engage in a social interaction. So, 2 indications. First of all, nas, people, both men and women, equally mentioned at the same time. You have a responsibility of engaging with other people so you may develop earth. Order comes to both men and women. Not only that, إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The best of you are the ones that are more pious, not the ones that are males, not the ones that are females. So you are competing in developing this earth together, and the ones that are better, the ones that are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ones that works harder and struggle more to reach that level. Inna Allah alimul khabir. At the end of this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-knowing, and He's the expert in this matter. What does that tell us? If you people now think that men are better than women, you're mistaken. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that knows. He's the one that's telling you you're equal in this task. Verse number 3, third point, Surah An-Nisa, verse 97, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُم أَجْرَهُم بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Whoever does good deed, again, from males and female, whoever does a good deed, as a believer, you will get a good life, hayat tayyibah, and you will be rewarded with the best of rewards. So if we take all these three ayahs, you are equal in your status in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your dignity. You are equal in your orders. You both have the same task to develop earth. You are equal in your rewards when you do the same thing. So if this is what Islam says, how can not we be equal? If we are, by our system, we are equal in everything in the eyes of Allah SWT.
Well, thank you so much. I wish we had some more time. We only covered a bit of the topic, but thank you so much for being here.
Jazakumullah khair.
So thank you all for watching today. I'm your host, Hafsa Siddiqui. Today we talked about social justice and social equality. We hope to talk more on this topic. Leave your comments below, subscribe to us, leave your comments, and write to us on email. Thank you. I'm your host, Hafsa Siddiqui, and tune in next time.